Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today is Monday, which means it's time for an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. Today's top comment comes from B-Boy EBD. He says, 0 to Hero LMG, Type 88, Hollow, Magnifier, Bipod, M9, attachments of your choice, offensive field upgrade. The Type 88 went from being statistically the worst gun in BF3 to being kind of good in Battlefield 4 thanks to a buff in its rate of fire. I personally think it's a solid LMG and performs great if burst fired. I'd like to know your opinion of it. Now, during Battlefield 3, I certainly didn't hide my opinions of the Type 88. It definitely was one of my least favorite light machine guns in the game. It had a rate of fire of 650 rounds per minute with a maximum damage of 25, basically making it a low damaging assault rifle with just terrible accuracy. You also had to give it extended mags to get 200 rounds in the magazine, so the Battlefield 4 one has had a considerable upgrade. I love, again, how they're just giving it standard 200 rounds in the magazine, not having to use any sort of extended mag attachments. You can use the rest of your attachments to sort of beef up the gun and make it perform the way that you want it to. It also got a rate of fire upgrade from 650 rounds to 700 rounds per minute, which doesn't seem like a huge improvement, but in many situations it will be the difference between life or death, and rate of fire is such a key in determining whether or not a gun is going to be effective in this game. So giving it that nice little rate of fire upgrade is going to put the Type 88 into a much more useful class of LMG. Now, according to Simthic.com, the aiming down sight accuracy hasn't really seen much of a change since Battlefield 3. The recoil compensation might be different now, and that's just something we don't have stats on yet, but in terms of the aiming down sight accuracy base spread, it seems to be pretty much on par with the Battlefield 3 version of this weapon. However, what has changed in Battlefield 4 is the aiming down sight accuracy of other weapon classes such as carbines and PDWs. Carbines seem to be a bit less accurate than they are in Battlefield 3, and PDWs seem to be significantly less accurate, making the machine gun a much more viable weapon, because PDWs on paper are even less accurate when aiming down sights than an LMG. So it's not so much that the LMGs have become better than Battlefield 3 LMGs, it's that other guns have become, I guess, a little bit worse, trying to balance out this class of weapon overall. Now, in game modes like Domination, having a weapon with 200 rounds in a magazine is a huge benefit, because this game mode is just so chaotic. You got guys popping out of the woodworks everywhere. You're constantly having to spin around, do 360s, getting caught while mid-reload because this map is so unpredictable. The spawn spots are so unpredictable. You'll just have people jumping out of little holes left and right that you need to have bullets in your gun at all times possible to try and stay alive. So the 200 round box mag is a huge benefit to this game mode specifically. Now, another way where LMGs in Battlefield 4 have gotten an upgrade based on other weapons downgrades is the suppression mechanics. All guns in Battlefield 3 have gotten significantly reduced suppression mechanics. Also, the general suppression mechanics doesn't necessarily make your opponent less accurate, but the weapons that have maintained a lot of their original suppression mechanics are the LMGs. So if you want to suppress your enemies, this is going to help you out a lot in just the average firefight. Trying to make your enemy miss you more than you're going to miss them is going to really help you out in any sort of firefight. So if you do have an inaccurate LMG that doesn't have the highest rate of fire, you can try and balance the odds by shooting first, suppressing your enemies, and basically just not giving them a good opportunity to return fire. And even if they do return fire, just make sure that fire is as inaccurate as humanly possible. Now, one unfortunate aspect of the loadouts in Battlefield 4 beta is that we can't play around with all the cool gun attachments that we're going to have available. Different foregrips are going to allow us to control recoil differently, have different accuracies while on the move or standing still. And the different muzzle brakes, muzzles, flash suppressors, that sort of thing, are going to also help you mitigate different types of recoil. So if you're not happy with how accurate a gun is, or you want to try and improve that, also I think we're getting heavy barrels available to some of the LMGs out there, it would be really nice to be able to play around with these and just see what we can do to the Type 88, because right now I think it's a pretty decent weapon. It's fun to play with. but when compared to something like the ACWR in a one-on-one firefight, I will win with that ACWR every single time versus a Type 88 as long as we start shooting at the same time. It's just going to beat out this weapon. So I would love to try and find ways to tweak this gun to make it perform a little bit better, a little bit more accurately. Currently, that's my only gripe with the weapon, is that it's not that accurate. And like the comment suggested, burst fire mode does help when maintaining accuracy with this weapon. My only problem is that when you have a gun that shoots 700 rounds per minute, burst fire can sometimes take a little bit too long to kill your opponent. Now, I'm playing primarily here on domination, just because the accuracy of this weapon I found to be a little bit too hard to use in conquest map modes, just because the engagement distances, as I'm sure you guys have noticed, is extremely long. We have snipers sniping at you from the top of buildings, and trying to return fire with the Type 88 is extremely difficult. You might suppress a tiny bit, but for the most part you're not going to win out at extreme long ranges with this weapon, so you're going to have to use it on medium to close range engagement distance maps for the time being. Again, I'm not sure what some of the attachments might be able to do to this weapon, if it gets a heavy barrel, if it gets an angled foregrip, other things like that to help you control the recoil, maintain better accuracy. It might end up performing a lot better at range. It's just something that we're going to have to wait and see for the final release of Battlefield 4. Now, with the launch of Battlefield 4, we're also going to get a ton of other LMGs to compete with the Type 88. From my very limited playthrough of the Paracel Storm map on the BF4 beta, I have to say that I was really enjoying the M249 light machine gun. It had a nice high rate of fire. I was able to control it pretty well. It seemed to have decent accuracy, so I'm really looking forward to testing that out more when the final game comes out and really messing around with all the attachments. So overall, I enjoyed the Type 88 in the Battlefield 4 beta. I think it's a decent weapon, definitely not a top dog contender, but we're going to have to wait and see what the attachments can do to this weapon to potentially perfect its performance at longer range engagements. Now, as far as comments go for the next episode of Loadout, don't bother leaving your Loadout comments in this video because the beta ends today, so I'm going to have to pre-record some other Loadout sessions using comments from the last two Loadout videos. So as always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.